It finally showed up. New from Axcel is the driver sight. I have the Picatinny mount here and the 3-pin option. I'm glad it finally showed up and to finally have my hands on it. I'm going to be adding this to reviews of sights and figuring out which one I'll be using this year. But I just wanted to dive into this one and do a first look and impressions, and if I think that it's actually a sight that's worth running for this year. When I first opened this sight up, I will definitely say it's the most compact sight that I've seen so far. And I did weigh it. It is the lightest that I've gotten my hands on so far. I'll zoom in here and show you a couple of the features and what I think are better and some of the ones that I think are a little bit worse. But when you first look at this, you're definitely going to notice how compact it is. And if you're somebody who wants your bow sight as close to your bow as possible, this is the closest one that I've found for the pick mount. The bridge lock, you can kind of move it in or out. Same with the dovetail, which is a really nice option of having those because you can adjust your sight, how close to your bow it is. But with the Picatinny mount, it's kind of just set there and you can't really adjust it. So I do like that this one is a little bit more compact, gets it a little bit closer to your bow. And I'm not sure how much difference a sight weight actually makes, but I'm going to kind of do a little testing there and just see how much of a difference there actually is there. But when you first get this sight, it's going to come in 2 pieces. So you have your scope housing that you can lock in here, and just like the landslide, you can remove one screw, remove the whole scope housing, and install a new one. I'm really glad that they kept that feature because some people, if you're switching scopes in and out, it is nice to be able to just quickly remove those and put a new scope in. One thing that also that they did with this one is they allowed you to be able to adjust the scope for levelness to yourself, which I'm not really sure if that makes a whole much of a difference or not. A lot of the other sites that I run don't have that, and it's kind of nice that it's just squared and you don't even have to really worry about messing with it. I think this is an upgrade, especially for if you are doing this yourself and you're going to be setting the sight up yourself and not an actual bow shop doing it for you. Is the first and second axis are locked together. I've heard of some people saying, well, that can move and it will come off in time. I feel like Axcel makes a really great product, so it shouldn't be something that you're too worried about, but I will kind of shoot with this and run it for a while and see if there are any issues with that. But I do like that the first and second are locked together. What that means is if you're shooting out distances and you're rolling the scope up or down, you'll still hit in line. Whereas if they're a little bit out of level, you might miss left or right the further down you get on your sight. So that's something to keep in mind. So that's nice that that's already locked for you. And it's just one screw adjustment. Loosen the bottom screw, loosen this one, loosen or tighten it, and that'll adjust the rail to whichever way you want it. If you want to level it to your string, your bow, or how you hold it, that's up to you. I personally like to level it to the string. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I'm going to zoom in here, show you a couple of the features here, and then I will be doing another full video of this sight, how to set it up completely, and then also how to pick the sight tapes and all of that. So the silver screw is your first and second axis adjustment. You'll loosen up this bottom one. Now I'll let you adjust the rail to level it to however you want to. One thing that I really noticed, especially just picking this up and just turning the dial right away, so when you're dialing your sight up and down, this wheel is really tight to the rail. And your thumb and your finger will actually rub on that, which is something that I don't like. I wish there was a little bit more room there. But it's still pretty easy to grab the wheel. It's just not a whole lot to grab onto. Like most other ones, you have 2 screws here to adjust your third axis. So it does have first, second, and third axis adjustments, which is nice. You have the micro adjust pins. You still have the sunshade, so you can dial it up or down depending on how bright you want your pins. One thing I really like that they upgraded is now you have a middle, top, and third pin indicator. And what I like to do on, if you have a 3-pin or depending on your scope housing, but on the 3-pin, I like to leave the middle pin right in the middle so that way all of your pins are centered a little bit more on your scope housing. If you are somebody who wants to shoot longer distances, you're probably going to want to have them down a little bit farther, just so you can get the most range out of your scope. But to me, the best scope picture is right in the center. Moving over here, you have your windage dial right here, which is a little bit opposite of most sights. Usually they are on the outside of the sight. Now they are on the inside of the sight. There's a lever here. If you pull it out, that is locked in. And if you push it in, now that'll allow you to move it left or right. It is nice that they are labeled here so you know which way you need to go. There is a little bit of indicators. Hopefully that's picking that up, but there are indicators up here so you will be able to kind of tell if your sight is moving left or right as well. Right above the dial wheel is your lock, so that'll lock your elevation. So if you're wanting to lock it down, push it all the way over and that will lock it, and it is locked. You can't move it, but you can just move this around to wherever you like it to, and you can keep a little tension on there if you're somebody who wants to be able to have it really be tough to move, but you can still move it. You can kind of adjust it for that. Although I don't know how well it will stay over time. It could loosen or move on you, so you might have to be a little careful there. One thing I don't like is if it's all the way unlocked, it actually hits the dial wheel and rubs there and can make a little bit of noise. So I don't like that factor. I wish that there was a good way that it would stop and not be able to go all the way over to hit the dial itself. Other than that, it still has the great scope housings. Like I said, you can change them out pretty easily with just the one set screw up here on top. Remove that, slide your new one in, tighten that back down, and you're good to go. One other thing too is you have a good amount of movement in the stop itself. So if you're wanting to sight in for 20, you can easily bump right back up to that, and that will stop your sight. So you have a good positive stop to come back to, and you know you're at your set top pin. That is nice that they kept that. Another feature that I really like that the Axcel does is they send you metal sight tapes, but you can also add your own sight tapes to the metal one here and do a sight in tape and figure out which tapes to use. That is the quick rundown of the new Axcel Driver sight. I did forget to mention you can switch this from Picatinny, bridge lock, or dovetail mount. So no matter what kind of bow setup you have, all you have to do is just buy a different mount. I'm really excited to try this. Axcel makes great products, so I'm sure this one is just the same as that, or they probably would have released this a lot sooner. So I'm sure there's just some bugs they had to get worked out to make sure the sight is durable and will last. I personally kind of do like that the first and second access are set. Like I said, I will try it and test it and make sure that they are actually locked really well and I don't have any problems missing left or right. But for me, for a lightweight sight, I mean, besides the weight and waiting on it, I do think that this sight has some upgraded features from the land side that will make this sight better, especially losing some of that weight if you're somebody who's trying to cut down as much weight as possible. But it also allows you to add weight in your stabilizers or some other areas that you might want some more weight in your bow. I think this is a great sight, and I'm looking forward to test it to the other great sights that I already have and figuring out what sight I'm going to be running for 2025. I hope that you'll check back and subscribe to my channel to make sure that you don't miss any of the videos coming up on these sights, and especially this one on the full setup. If you have any questions on this sight, please leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them the best that I can. And like I said, look forward to getting this fully set up, and then I'll probably be able to answer some more questions on it as I'm setting it up. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay hidden.